incomparable genius of Edgar Allan Poe could knit them so closely together. The burning passions of the purest of loves. The deadly passions of the madly prurient.
Madeline, you're leaving this house with me tomorrow.
Only I could.
For hundreds of years, evil thoughts and evil deeds have been committed within these walls. The house itself is evil now.
Here they all are. Ushers.
This is monstrous.
It waits for me, because very soon I shall be dead.
Oh, Madeline, come away with me now.
Where is she? You buried your own sister alive?
I did. But she's dead now.
The master hand of the macabre creates its masterpiece.
True, I'm nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous. But why will you say that I'm mad? See how calmly, how precisely I can tell the story to you. Listen. It starts with the old man. An old man in an old house. A good man, I suppose. He had never harmed me. I didn't want his gold, if gold there was. Then what was it? I think it was his eye. Yes, that eye, the eye, that. His eye staring. Milky white film. The eye, everywhere, everywhere, in everything. Of course I had to get rid of the eye. So I waited, watched, waited. I was never so kind to the old man. I looked after him each minute, each second, and I waited. But night after night, in the hour of the slowest clock, I opened the old man's door. The eye was always closed. For 7 days I waited. You think me mad? What madman would wait, could wait so patiently, so long, in the old house, with the old man and the eye that... Then on the 8th night, I knew. Tonight. Still, I waited, while time slowed, stopped, ebbed out. A watch's hand moved more quickly than mine. Then... What? No! For an hour, I did not move a muscle. I could feel the earth turn. The eye. Hear the spider spinning. In the house, the grinding crumble of decay. Then, something else. Dull and muffled, yet... Of course. It was the beating of the old man's heart. He knew. So strong for such an old man. Louder then. And still louder. For all the world to hear and know. I had to stop it. Then it was over. The heart was still. The eye was dead. I was free. But there was still work to be done. I replaced the planks so cleverly, no eye, not even his, could have found anything wrong. Huh? So soon?
The neighbors reported a scream. We're obliged to investigate.
A scream? My own, gentleman. A childish dream. But come in, please. You'll want to look through the house.
That is our duty. Where is the old man?
Gone to the city.
You're up very early this morning.
The dream I spoke of, it awakened me.
When did he leave?
The old man? Yesterday.
How long will he be away?
2 weeks. Perhaps longer.
Nothing out of place here.
There is his bed, here his cupboard, all in order.
Quite in order.
All quite in order.
Yes, nothing amiss. You understand that when a complaint is made, we have no choice but...
Stay, please. Such a wretched hour. I was making tea. A hot drink will break the chill. Surely it would surprise good people how much evil the night conceals from their eyes. But not yours, to be sure. What did you say, sir? Yes, of course, the hot water. It will do no harm to the bare boards. I'm a little less tidy with the old man away. Then I heard it. It might have been a hand, a clock. But no. Louder. And still louder. They must hear it. Yet they sit and talk and talk. They must. Of course they do. They know. They do. They're torturing me, watching me, letting it beat so that I... Stop it! Stop it, you devils! Yes, I did it. It's there, under the floor. Oh, stop it! It is the beating of his hideous heart! True, I'm nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous. But why will you say that I am mad?
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Friday Night Scream Stream. I'm your host, Spakenstein. I'm joined by my very good friend, Mr. Evan Sink. How are we doing this evening, Evan?
Doing great.
Good to have you here. Hey, I haven't forgotten about the sound effects. It's on and off with me. If I'm having a good night and I can operate the soundboard, I try. But if I'm having a bad night, then, you know, we get
Somebody just got hurt out in the audience,
we get a whole lot of that. So we're gonna try to.
We gotta get somebody on that. I think
right. Is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the stream here?
Is there a mad doctor even in the house?
Yeah, I mean, we would take that, because then if you could take this injured person and then come up with some wild scientific experiment
Switch the brain out.
Right.
Shock him a few times.
And you can tell everybody you were inspired by this show. You give Evan and I some credit if it goes well. If it doesn't go well,
clap.
Right. If it doesn't go well, though, you're on your own. Evan and I had no part in it, no influence whatsoever. So I hope everybody, on that note, I hope everybody's doing good out there. We're just chilling here in the studio tonight. Just a easy Friday night. Actually, I don't know. I keep forgetting it's a special day. And I don't know if you out there have been celebrating. Evan, I don't know if you are aware of been celebrating what today is.
Well, if by celebrating you mean getting fooled by a bunch of crazy headlines, then yeah, I've been celebrating.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten tricked a couple times.
Everything's so believable nowadays. Like, I can see any headline almost and just believe it.
I think every year that my alma mater is getting a football team, and then I have to remember it's the same damn thing every year.
Should they do that every year? We're getting one?
Yeah, the internet's done. Found that out today. That was some big news from Fresh. Found out that internet's gonna not be a thing in a couple days.
Al Gore's retiring, I see.
Right. Hey, I mean, again, when Al Gore steps away, we should have known that the internet would be the first thing to go out the window. So here we are. What can we do at this point? Just like with all the crazy stuff that's happening these days, you just roll with it. We just roll with it. What else? What else?
We'll do without internet for forever. That's okay.
Roll with it. I mean, hey, at least most of us out there grew up for the first, what would you say, 10 years of your life without internet being like a everyday, ever present thing, right?
We can do it. We can go back to that. We can just start doing the show just out on the street corner.
Oh yeah,
Anybody who walks by.
We'll find a nice bar to post up in. We'll just bring like a DVD player in our own television, and we'll just start playing these in the middle of public spaces, crowded, anywhere where people are pretty much trapped. We're just gonna corner them and start doing the show.
Subway car, on a bus.
Take every opportunity we can. We have that's especially without internet.
We can get.
And captive is the very key word there. Evan's been on top of it with the puns tonight before the show even started, and I'm ready for him to serve up more puns. So we'll kind of get down to business. The movie tonight that we're going to be watching is The Terror from 1963, and this is a gothic horror movie directed and produced by a guy named Roger Corman, who is kind of the independent movie king. Like, he's the godfather of independent cinema. We're going to talk about him tonight. We're going to get into the production history of this movie because it's fucking wild. It stars Boris Karloff and Jack Nicholson.
So right there.
Right. Yes.
Ooh.
Exactly. And Sweet Feet is in here with the puns right away. Yes. Exactly. Well, that would have been a really good gag, but I couldn't hurt you guys like that. And just stay tuned for this week's announcement at the end of the show about next week's episode, because that's honestly a nice little teaser. But no, I'm not gonna pull the rug out from under you guys. I promise. The Terror. This is a bonkers movie. It doesn't make any sense, but it's a lot of fun. And again, the story behind it is wild. So I think you guys are gonna enjoy all that. So again, we have been, kicking off these first couple episodes and coming up with new segments, and we're on our 4th round of a segment that Evan came up with, and so I'll let Evan go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, tonight, what were you drinking?
What the hell were you drinking?
You have to say it like that, or else the pun doesn't work. So, in the spirit of trying new things, every week we are trying to bring you a new
fresh
fun, a new fun thematic cocktail, a nice thing you can make at home and play along with us if you want to play the drinking game.
Spoilers in the chat. He's doing it.
So tonight, our drink is the Terror-tini.
Hey.
So we have a fun layered drink
spooky
here.
Drink.
We've got the blood, and I think there's an eyeball floating around.
An eyeball or two. I asked for 2 eyeballs. I don't know if Evan indulged me, but we'll see. I'm loving this. Spoiler watch over here. Where Evan's serving up the drinks. Meanwhile, we got spoiler watch going on. So, okay, Evan, I'm very excited. Tell us, what are the ingredients in this?
So, this one is it's closer to an appletini than I guess a straight up martini. It is vodka and lemon juice and a little bit of simple syrup mixed, and then you sink some pomegranate juice and cherry. So you end up with a fun looking cool drink, and well, we're gonna see if it tastes.
Well, we'll see. And before the show, I saw Evan pluck the eyeballs out of just a random dude on the street. So the real authentic organic human eyeballs. So I'm expecting a really rich, savory taste, but I guess we're about to judge for ourselves.
Well,
cheers, sir.
Cheers to terror.
Cheers to the terror. Ooh, that's good. That's good.
That's pretty stiff, but it's good.
It is. It's. I think and I'm starting to notice it now. It's a running through point with maybe all the drinks we've done so far. Lime juice.
Yeah, well, this one had lemon, but it's always some kind of citrus.
See, this even citrus feels like it's got a little more of a kick to it too.
Yeah.
So. Okay, very interesting.
I feel like it's the first sip is going to be super strong, but then like the rest of it's going to be like progressively weaker because you just get into the
alcohol just starts being absorbed in your bloodstream, and at that point it's
so doubly so.
You're the taste isn't going to matter. It's not going to factor in at that point. Yes. Evan's a known island boy, and that's why there's citrus in every drink that we'll be drinking here on the Scream Stream. Yes, actually has like a bite to it, like a vampire's bite, where now I'm like, as I'm trying to talk to you guys, I notice my throat is getting like it's like drying up from the lemon bite.
Got my lime on, yeah.
So, oh my God, get out of here, get out! You guys know I can't. I won't even entertain it. Oh gosh. So, if you guys are drinking along with us, I hope you're enjoying your own Terror-tinis. If not, if you're playing the drinking game, remember rules at the bottom. Click on the panel. You can print them out. That, be responsible. Don't be drinking too much. We're running a show, so
don't drink too many Terror-tinis.
Yeah, I think just one Terror-tini might. I think Fresh Rogan. Fresh. I don't know if you're. Did you substitute? No, I'm not even gonna make that dumb joke because I'll just get caught into that. But no, Fresh, I think, might be indulging in the Terror-tini tonight. I hope. Tell us how it is, Fresh, if you are drinking it. I'm enjoying it. I'm liking it.
And this is all stuff you'll probably have just lying around the cabinet, just in the fridge somewhere. I think everybody's got this on hand.
You guys aren't constantly having to go to the store every week. It's not like that. And even if you are, by the end of it, you'll have a full bar set up.
There we go.
A full counter. So.
And I forgot to mention, it's a vodka drink, but Don't worry, we didn't get it from Russia.
Right. Evan,
It's Swedish vodka.
So, and that's what they say. They say if you're gonna go next best thing. I mean, as good as Russian vodka may be, we just And hey, there's good Russians out there. There's bad. We don't discriminate here on this show. We're not. But we're supporting. We're gonna support the rest of Europe. Russia had the vodka market cornered. They need to open it up. Open up the vodka market. Maybe this will do that. That's the least of the concerns right now. But let's see how it plays out. Who knows? Could be interesting. Okay, all right. I'm 100% in for the Chumbawamba. Chumbawamba.
The tub
quoting.
thumping.
Yeah, let's get all tub thumping up in here, please. If we could play the song, we're already having enough. I'm already dealing with enough copyright issues. If I could play that song, I would. I actually got a notification from Twitch the other day saying that they're being a little more, like, they're having more audio, like, content ID components to identify copyright infringement. So, well, I think we're good here. YouTube is what gives me problems, but I won't digress. What I will go ahead and tell you guys, since, to start to segue into the movie, unfortunately, I am not bringing you a Golden Age Classics print tonight. They are also dealing with problems with YouTube right now and copyright. So their channel,
It's public domain.
yeah, it's some
That's the
bullshit.
whole thing.
It's public domain. It's not like they're just reposting somebody else's shit. They're taking the real film elements. They're doing their own restoration to them, their own unique thing. And so it's outrageous that YouTube is basically suspended their channel. I guess they've had too many copyright strikes at this point. They're hoping to get it worked out, but it, couldn't have come at a more ironic time on April Fool's Day. The biggest fool of all.
They got us.
It got me. I did find an okay print. It's pretty good. It's the best that I could find. Not Golden Age Classics beautiful 4K stunning restoration, but in the meantime, we're going to watch a pretty good one. And yeah, again, this is a gothic horror movie, and I hope it's I think you guys will like it. It's not going to make any sense. I'll go ahead and tell you now. That's what happens when you're coming up with a story in a week because the sets are available and you decide, hey,
Oh my God,
you know what I
this is
could
gonna be
do?
a whole
I could
thing.
make another movie on these sets before they tear them down. And Roger Corman did it in a whole wild way, and so we'll get into that. Again, gothic horror, so you can expect castles, you can expect romance, you can expect intrigue and history and historical backdrop, which is a lot of fun. And again, yeah, this has just been an inexplicable favorite for me. I first saw this movie when I was like 5, got it on VHS, and then I ended up getting it on DVD, and it is just a movie that I keep going back to, even though, again, it's not, again, we don't judge movies here, like good, bad, great, terrible. I don't like to use those words, but again, I think comparatively to everything we watched up to this point,
This one
I think you
stands
guys are
out.
in for a treat.
All
This
right.
one, yeah. So I'm very excited to be bringing you guys The Terror. Evan, any wagers before we get into?
Well, I'm just really wondering how close is Boris Karloff's character going? Is this pre or post Frankenstein?
So this is 1963. This is 32 years after Frankenstein.
Oh, okay.
So
old
Boris is
Karloff.
He's
Young
still
Nicholson.
young Jack Nicholson, and
Young Jack Nicholson.
and so he's he took this as an opportunity to kind of flex his muscles, and he's playing the
His
lead.
literal muscles.
He's a soldier in a very heavy uniform, so and not that stringy guy Jack Nicholson. No, but anyway, yeah. So
Young string bean Jack
young
Nicholson.
string bean Jack Nicholson. No, he's great in it. He's totally committed, and again, Boris is old, and but it's still menacing. And he did some more. He had a ways to go. His career went for a good, 5-6 years after this. So we'll get in more into all this stuff. Get started. Yeah, I know. Wild. I'm not even gonna touch that one with a 10-foot pole, sweet feet. I would step into something there if I commented. That's a sad. Yeah, it's in the. I don't want to use zeitgeist isn't the right word, but it's in the, on top of every other dramatic thing going on right now, which I'm not even going to discuss the thing that everybody's been talking. We're not even going to discuss it on this program. If you're looking for us to talk about that, go somewhere else, because we're serving up public domain horror for your Friday night. We're happy to do it. Get your worries away, kick them out of here, and be prepared to get scared. All right, well, then I think without further ado, The Terror. Trademarked it. So that's the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Boris Karloff. Oh yeah, again, like, you just have this beautiful castle set, and you're like, I could do something with this, like, in no time at all.
So what were they shooting here before they did this one?
So they were shooting a movie called The Raven, which again, so that will be one of the trailers during the first break. And if you look closely, you'll notice the sets. Oh, 100%. And the movie after this is also in the trailer, the second trailer in the first break, also uses the same sets, pieces of the same set. And they shot portions of this movie later on that set. I'll get it. I'm saving like most of that stuff for the breaks. It's a little convoluted, but it's fun. See, I thought so too, and I can't figure out why that's happening. Let me see what I can do about that.
I think that was a real skeleton.
I think it 100% was a real skeleton. Dude, popping up out of nowhere.
The bird loose in the catacombs here.
Yeah, look out.
In the castle vaults.
It really does.
The way the comedic timing on the hat falling down and the decaying skeleton man was very Gilliam, I feel.
A little tongue in cheek. Whoa. Yeah, see, that's certainly a Gilliam thing. The score here, this composer, Ronald Stein, did some of the most amazing scores for these low-budget horror movies. He did it with nothing. Like, amazing scores. When low-budget movies like this didn't get orchestral scores. A lot of movies on this program, he scored. That we'll show later on this program.
actually wondering the same thing. Is that have I seen that beach before?
100%, 100%. Dirty Myrtle. It's Dirty Myrtle.
I mean, like, you know, there's a lot of coastline out there, but like, surely there has to be some beaches that just get used in a lot of movies.
You would think.
You would think, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
It is people
brooding, looking
over
down and over at other people. That's what it's all about.
Oh wait,
I think I maybe know what's going on with the Evans thing. Maybe not. I don't know. Fresh, tell me if it's changed. But I'll try some other stuff if not.
As long as they can hear me. As long as they can hear me.
Hello, do you know the road to Coleman?
Whoa. Whoa.
I was separated
So she in real life
Is at the time was actually Jack Nicholson's wife.
Okay.
And he was like, they were like, he got the role, and they were like, well, we need a lady, and he was like, well, my wife is an actress.
I know this lady who hangs out by the sea cave.
Yeah. Hold on. I got it. Hopefully. We will see.
I
think he's supposed to be French. I think.
That's just how French people dress.
Those goddamn French people.
Thank you.
The French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence.
Mr. Wells.
There is a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. Love it.
To talk to me. I'm a weary, disillusioned soldier, and you're the only pleasant sight that I've seen in 7 months.
Yeah, so I've done played with a bunch of different things with the audio, so I don't know. Now it's gonna echo. I'm starting to see the eyeball in here. Fuck me.
Is the whole movie kind of cut like this?
No.
Okay.
No.
You said it was going to be kind of crazy. It's not going to make any sense how that's going to manifest.
Yeah, I'm trying a bunch of different things, so let me know if it ever stops. Probably won't. Manifest. It's just so weird. It's like so yeah. Apparently he's Jack Nicholson said he was a lifeguard. Like, so when he did this scene, he wasn't super worried about it. But he said it was still. He said the water wasn't deep enough. He was on his knees. Like he said. But he said it was still like scary because you can tell he's getting like pummeled.
Yeah, I mean, he's pummeled by the
Right. But I mean, again, if he actually was a lifeguard, then you kinda, especially out in California with that swell.
Whoa.
Oh, it was a bad night.
How long was I out? How long was I out?
You're safe here. Here, take this for your strength. God knows help is a very rare thing in this forest. Take it whenever it's offered to you.
Poison. Got him.
That bird. He attacked me.
I'm afraid you're wrong. She's quite harmless. Here.
This lady's just running a bird scam to sell magic potions.
She only seems dangerous. Actually, she's very affectionate, which is very unusual for a bird.
Take it back.
Oh, that is too bad. Little girl liked him, didn't you? This is Gustav. He brought you here. Gustav fed your horse.
Where is Helene?
This is Helene.
No, not the bird. The girl. Where is the girl?
There is no girl.
Of course there's a girl. I saw her. She spoke to me.
So don't you give me
So
that.
don't you give me that. Don't you play mind games with me, lady.
And had a pleasant illusion. Gustav, have you ever seen a girl here? Someone imagines things. If he could speak, I think we would
Exactly.
find that his mind is warped.
It's all connected.
Such is the will of God, to endow and deprive. The only thing of beauty you'll find in this forest is Helene.
Goddamn bird, dude. I would never. No offense to the bird owners out there. I just couldn't do it. I'm just not.
It's not for me.
It's not for me. And I don't know.
Would you rather have a bird or a reptile?
Reptile, easily. Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I've known people that have had snakes and, lizards and stuff, but I don't.
I'm
trying to think about knowing somebody. Like, the shit? The shit? Like, I couldn't deal. Yeah, I couldn't manage that. I couldn't handle that. Ugh.
We have enough trouble with the birds
I'm not.
at our house, let alone our house. Let alone live inside. Would live inside.
Don't do it, dude. Why are you? Why? See. Lust, man. Lust makes you do crazy things.
The cutting on these scenes, though, it's very like fever dreamy.
Hello. I was afraid you'd drown. So you are real. I started to think.
Ooh, juke them.
Not wasting any time. Not wasting any time.
Who are you?
Passionate kiss.
Passionate kiss. I wasn't man enough to eat my eyeball. I couldn't do it. My eyeball is still in the cup. I didn't have the guts.
Man, that drink was legit, really good.
Yeah, man, that was delicious. It's lit. Come on, bro.
They keep using that same soundbite for the bird.
Hey. Oh yeah. Hey, get used to it, buddy. Ooh.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Quicksand. The girl was trying to kill me.
She knows not what she does. Her will is not her own.
You mean she's insane?
Possessed. She needs your help.
Help? How can I help her?
The castle of the Baron von Lepp. You will find her there. I can say no more. There's great danger. Find Eric. Eric knows.
Not so mute, huh? Where do you get off impersonating a mute person, bro?
Some science going on here.
I'm mute, but I actually can't talk, but I prefer to whisper. It's more dramatic.
Rejoin your regiment by dusk.
Where is Gustav?
What do you want him for?
I want him to show me where the castle of the Baron von Lepp is.
No one's lived in the castle for years. And besides, Gustav has gone away for a few days.
Perhaps you'd show me the way to the castle.
Why are you so interested in the Baron?
I never said that I was, but the girl that I followed last night and spoke to, I believe that she lives there.
Told you. There is no girl.
That is nonsense.
Getting pretty defensive for there being no girl.
No.
I'll find the castle myself.
No, wait!
Is it day? It looks like
Don't
day.
look.
Yeah. It's one of those strange cases of day for night.
Leave now while you can.
I intend to find her.
Please don't tell the Baron that I am here.
Don't tell him.
Where did they shoot this? Is this California?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep, California. And I can't remember all these hill scenes specifically where they were shot, but they were shot. I'll go more about that. Yeah, I remember that bush over there. No! Oh, he's just washing his face. I thought he was taking a drink of it.
Yeah, well, earlier when he was drinking, it's right by the ocean. I thought it was salt water. Salt water. I still sit thirsty.
Hello? Is anyone here? Hello? It's me, Andre.
Bro.
It's me, Eric Andre.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
Fun fact, it was named after this character from The Tear.
Yeah, Hagrid's just gonna. Yo, Wizard
In the
Harry.
name of the government of France, I order you to open this door.
Your pardon, young sir. I was at my devotions. I did not hear you.
I'm sorry, sir, but surely I made enough noise to awaken the dead.
The government of
Would
France.
it-
I've seen the uniforms of many governments in my time. What would a soldier...
This guy sounds like he's about to start singing Monsters.
Shelter, for one thing. Permit me to introduce myself, Lieutenant Andre Duvalier.
Funny enough, I think he's sang it a couple times, but that's what the voice is supposed to of the singer is supposed to be mimicking Boris Karloff. The lisp and the talking like this, you know.
Never knew that. Never knew that.
Yeah.
Come in. What you see, Lieutenant, are the remains of a noble house. Relics, ghosts of past glory.
Beautiful set. Beautiful set. Beautiful set. I'm gonna use it.
I'm just gonna leave it like this.
I mean, and so I'll go ahead and kind of spoil it a little bit. The main movie that these sets were made for was funded by a studio. That studio did not fund this movie. Roger just used the sets. He didn't tell the heads of the studio what he was gonna do. So pretty much, the head of the studio, the head of the studio showed up on Wrap Day for the Raven, and usually he said on Wrap Day they're taking everything down when I get there. He's like, why is everything still up? And Rogers. He said it was like, you know, he said Roger seemed a little scared, but it was just like, this is what I'm doing. All right.
Well,
I'm quite sure you think you saw someone, but...
Baron, I am in full possession of my faculties.
Please, allow me to show you something. You should never believe everything your eyes tell you, young man. Is that the girl you think you saw?
Yes, of course.
Before you say anything else, examine the portrait closely, the signature, and above all, the date.
Wait, Fresh, who doesn't blink, Karloff or Nicholson?
I just saw Nicholson.
I was gonna say it seems like an old pro move. Seems like a Karloff move.
It's incredible. It's the same girl, and she hasn't changed a bit.
She has been dead for 20 years.
Yeah.
He's dude. That's what his is all about.
Unblinking
The eyes.
So much of these old actors is just soul in the eyes.
Right, the eyes, the brow, the cheekbones.
The resemblance was not quite as much as I had thought. The girl at the window.
Lieutenant Duvalier, the only occupants of this castle are Stefan and myself. You were the first visitor since the turn of the century.
Of course, Baron.
This feels like an episode.
Stefan will see
One Step
your
Beyond.
room.
Thank you.
Right.
Any second now, John Newland is just gonna step out.
It just comes out. I would totally expect it. I'm fully prepared for John Newland to step out. All right, so that takes us to the first break of The Terror. So, impressions so far. Pretty gothic. We've gotten castles. We've gotten some romance, some ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty
maybe not.
So far.
People who are supposed to be mute, but they aren't really mute. I mean, what, you know. I don't know. Is mute even a politically correct word? I don't know.
I think people still say that.
I think so.
Either way,
you know, a lot of fun elements so far, and a lot of frolicking around the hills. And the eyeliner, and you know, the black, tons of black, and So I mean, I was telling Evan a little bit about this before the break, but basically before this, Roger Corman was doing movies that were based on Edgar Allan Poe stories, but they had very little to do with Edgar Allan Poe's actual like stories. Just kind of used the title and built a basic story around it. But he had done 3 or 4 up to this point, and most of them had starred Vincent Price. And again, like I said right before this, they had done The Raven. Sets for The Raven were still standing. And Roger Corman was like, okay, I love these sets. They're just going to tear them down. What if I just come up with my own Poe movie from scratch, like my own Poe story? So he got this writer slash actor who was in his like stable of people to like, he had 1 week left of The Raven. So in the week that was left of The Raven, this guy was working on the script. And so The Raven finished on Friday. And so on Saturday and Sunday, they shot all the main stuff with Karloff and Nicholson in the castle. And so all the Karloff Nicholson castle stuff that you see was shot in 2 days. Because that was how long that Corman for sure still had the sets, which again, like I said, some stuff got recycled in movies after this. But he used those 2 days, and he knew that that's about how long he could afford Karloff. And so he like asked Karloff, he's like, what did they pay you for The Raven? And then he decided what he was going to pay Karloff based on that. And that's my quote. That's my rate. And you know, Boris apparently, like, you know, he showed up on set and all he had was an outline. It was just like, I really don't want to do this. They wanted. I think originally they wanted. I mean, he just always was working. He just all the way up to right before he died. He was doing super low budget. He literally couldn't walk. He was having to get oxygen in between scenes.
How did Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi end up so poor? It's not. I mean, they certainly had famous roles, but like, how famous were they?
Well,
it's not even that they were poor, but actors back in that day did not make residuals off their films. That did not become a thing until later. And there's also a bunch of stuff with their likenesses. Universal has kind of gotten around having to, or for a long time got around having to get the permission of the families to use their images to promote the monsters and to promote everything else. And so eventually Lugosi's family and Karloff's family and Lon Chaney's family, they came up with their own companies to manage the likenesses and the images. But back in their lifetime, they didn't have any control over any of that. So literally all they had was just another project to work on. And it wasn't even that they were poor. Like, I wouldn't say that Karloff was poor. But I mean, again, I kind of hate to say it, but to reference the whole Bruce Willis situation, I mean, again, there's a reason why, like, you're just going to work as much as you can until you can't work anymore. And that was, some actors are like that. Like, no, even, and that was the thing. Like, Karloff was like that. He couldn't even walk. He had emphysema. You'll notice in this movie he has to do a lot of walking. And we saw it at the beginning. I don't know if we'll see it again, but when he has to walk downstairs, he struggles. He has a hard time because he got injured on the set of Frankenstein, having to carry an actor over his shoulder up and down while he's wearing like a 50-pound. Like the whole Frankenstein costume was like over 50 pounds, and so he had lifelong back problems after that. And in his later movies, you can tell he gets more and more debilitated. And but he's still fairly mobile here. But again, he was just, if he was available and he got offered a job, he was going to do it. He wasn't really going to say no. And so they got him, they did this. And so we've seen the first couple scenes. There's going to be a lot more of Karloff and Nicholson in the castle. Evan, anything before we go to our trailer break?
I guess not. I'm excited. You told me about this trailer. I do want a trailer.
So again, like I said, the trailers that we're going to see are for The Raven, which was the movie that came before this, and The Haunted Palace, which is the movie that came after this, in the Corman Poe cycle, which actually The Haunted Palace is actually based on an H.P. Lovecraft story, not actually Poe. The title is a Poe title, but the whole story is a H.P. Lovecraft story. So it's interesting. It's a lot of fun. I watched that movie the other night because I wanted to kind of steep myself back into the whole Corman Poe universe, because he did like 7 or 8 Edgar Allan Poe movies. Again, they weren't all strictly based on Poe, but there's a whole series of these movies, which is kind of what we're celebrating tonight. So enjoy these trailers, and we will be right back.
True terror is the soft, cold caress of the raven's wing.
Your hands are so cold.
A woman whose desires transcend reality. The mysterious powers of black magic. These you will explore.
Now, what is it you need? You got some dried blood or bat in the house?
The Raven will take you careening through the darkest of dangers, into the ominous mystery of a master magician's evil castle.
Afraid, my dear? I offer you a choice. The secret of your hand manipulations, or this against this.
Well, don't just stand there.
Do something.
This is no answer.
Very well, then. Adieu to the death.
You are invited to an open house where horror will be your host. The Haunted Palace. You, who find a kind of macabre joyousness in the horrifying, will enjoy yourselves as in ecstasy in The Haunted Palace. Starring Vincent Price, a being who lived and died and lives again.
I'll not have my fill of revenge until this village is a graveyard.
and intriguing Deborah Paget, whose appealing beauty inflames the blood of the bloodless.
Charles, please.
Well, I've been very busy, but I'm back now.
His violent, torturous passions inflict both pain and terror. Lon Chaney, carrying on a family tradition of masterful motion picture horror, while the strange and feared new master of the haunted palace reaches for the skeleton of one long dead.
You see? He's taken her mind, her soul, just like the others.
Really, this is outrageous. Night onward, you shall bear my curse. Burn him! Surely after all these years, I'm entitled to a few small amusements.
And we are back. All right. So those again, like I said, that was the movie that the director of this, Roger Corman, filmed before this, The Raven, and they shot it on this movie on the same sets, and then the movie that came after The Terror, The Haunted Palace, which again, so like I said, 2 days that they had Karloff and Nicholson on those castle sets, right? Pretty fast to get like most of the thank you, Evan. Evan has made me another Tarantini here. Very excited. But so that 2 days is like a pretty quick amount of time to get most of the movie done. But he still had everything else to shoot outside the castle scenes. Took him 6 months. Over 5 other directors contributed to, because Roger wasn't just working on The Terror. Honestly, after the Karloff scenes, he was pretty much done. He maybe came back at the end to do a couple of the end, like the very final things that needed to be shot. But he outsourced to originally. First person he outsourced to was his assistant, Francis Ford Coppola, who we now know, director of The Godfather and The Conversation and so many amazing movies. He's a cinema icon, and he, like many other cinema icons from the 70s and 80s, got their start under Roger Corman. Well, Roger said, okay, Francis, I want you to take Jack and Jack's wife and go out and film all the stuff that we saw in the beginning, all the stuff with them running around in the ocean and on the cliffs. And he sent Francis to shoot all that and was like, do it in 3 to 5 days, and Francis took 10 days. And so Roger outsourced to different people during this production, and at certain times found people kind of taking a page out of his own book and kind of taking advantage of him. And like one guy used the equipment. Roger was like, I need you to go film some some second unit stuff, and so while he had Roger's equipment, he filmed his own student film and spent like the shortest amount of time to get the shots Roger wanted him to get.
He just did the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I've got this set. I'll shoot this movie. Well, I've got this equipment, so I'll just shoot my student film.
Right. And Roger really couldn't be mad, because it was the same thing he had done with the studio that made The Raven, and after The Terror, Haunted Palace, American International Pictures, AIP. Roger done the same thing. He didn't tell them he was going to use the sets for The Raven to film The Terror, which was made by his own production company with his own money. He just said... He didn't even say anything. He just started doing it. And they couldn't really do anything.
It would be if they just did that more nowadays. We're like, hey, we're gonna wait like 3 days before we take down the set. So if anybody wants to come make a movie, it's just have at it.
Right.
Have at it.
Right.
Well, and that was
that was the thing. I mean, they,
if he says it's only going to take him 2 days to get what he needs, you're not gonna. I mean, that was the thing. I think if Sam Arkoff was the head of AIP, if he really wanted to, he could have just shut the whole thing down. But he actually ended up knowing that Roger would bring the Terror to American International for distribution. So, like, the other films that Roger did, that company produced it, that company released it. This film, Roger produced, but the only people he could take it to release it were AIP. And he worked with them for many years after this, and then started his own very successful independent company. He gave a lot of popular directors their first directing gigs, and again, go look it up. He has an amazing legacy. A lot of my knowledge this week is coming from his autobiography, How I Made $100 in Hollywood and Never Lost a Dime. Oh, sorry, 100 movies. I'm reading. I should know the title. I shouldn't be reading off the screen. But
That's retirement money.
It is a really fun book. He kind of goes in depth on pretty much everything that he directed, and again within like a 10 to 12 year period, he cranked out like over 50 movies. I mean, the man, insane. The man was he's still alive. He's still pre-pandemic. He was still producing and still killing it. I don't really know.
And to this day, some say he's
still out there. I've
still
always
out there, constantly cranking out movies.
Always wanted to, and I've reached out. So, Roger Corman, if you're watching this, which I know you're not, but that would be the one person. He's.
Add me on Twitter.
Add me on Twitter, Roger Corman. No. Who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky. One of these days before. I'm not even going to say it, but he's like 90 something. So, I won't jinx it. I mean,
all we need is a leftover set and we can put him on.
Well, he was the guy,
Boris Karloff.
He was producing a whole, a lot of Sci-Fi Channel movies that weren't Asylum movies were Roger Corman movies, like the Dino Croc, like a lot of Sharktopus, I think was Roger Corman, a lot of monster combination stuff that came on Sci-Fi in the late 2000s, early 2010s is Roger Corman stuff. So, and he just has a long legacy of B movies, science fiction, horror, Western. He's done it all. So please go check him out. We are going to watch another movie of his 2 weeks from now. He's got a lot of movies on this program. A lot of the movies that he produced fell into the public domain because they didn't copyright him right. So I'm very happy we get to show them, because there's some of the best movies we're going to watch on this program, but they are, he's been always a little sore that he's not making the money off them, because he's all about making money. So, he's a little sore probably that we're even bringing this to you tonight. But, Roger, we're all about furthering your legacy. So, hopefully we're spreading the word. All right. Well, I can't think of anything. So I think we are going to get back into the exciting middle of the Terror. I wonder where.
just took my first sip of the second Tarantini you made.
I'm coming down. Wait for me.
Woo!
Nice Swedish vodka kick.
That is a kick. That is definitely a kick. It's not a bad kick. I like it. Once it settled. Yeah. So one of the reasons that Job hates this movie is because apparently the gun is not accurate to that.
What year is it supposed to be?
I couldn't tell you. I do not know. I know so much about the production stuff. I can't tell you a thing about the historical period in which this is set.
You hear me? Unlock this door. I'm gonna shoot through the door.
How much do you think anachronisms matter, detract from a movie?
I don't care. I mean, again, and I'm thinking about the production, side of it. I'm thinking that they just went to the AIP set gun bucket and pulled out a gun and was like, this looks old. And then just... Apparently his, soldier costume was from some Marlon Brando movie from the 50s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That is literally... AIP is just getting hand-me-downs from other studios and adding it to their, this is what they got. You know? This is... this is what's in supply for the studio.
Man, definitely, I feel like it's definitely an undersung part of Hollywood is the people who make the props and people who make or source the wardrobe.
Absolutely underappreciated, and so much so that a lot of those categories didn't even get announced during the main Oscars ceremony this year. They were done at the very beginning before the ceremony started, and then they just played the winners' speeches on the show. So those categories even now are just getting even more underappreciated. So kudos to you for highlighting that, Evan.
Well, I mean,
even with this is a cheap movie. This is considered a cheap, low-budget movie. Now on this show, actually, this is more upper echelon, but comparatively at the time, this was considered low budget solid B movie making, production wise.
Yeah, but I mean, really,
touche, Fresh.
I mean, anyone who's had any kind of experience or just studying film at all, you look at a scene like this, everything in the scene, you gotta go find it or have somebody just make it. And so if you imagine something really crazy, you have to find somebody who can make a fake version or a whatever version of whatever it is you need.
I mean, that's the beauty of the artisans, the people that actually put the time to go and find stuff or make stuff or whatever their process is.
Yeah, I've devoted my life to making rubber masks or carving out historical replicas of whatever.
Right. I mean, again, it's just if you have the things that people are looking for their production, it's just all right. Well,
you're hired. You know, like you got what we need.
Blessed are the prop makers.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of become an expert if you're just kind of naturally into that stuff. But if you can do a lot with a little, you know, that's amazing. But these people know their worth, man.
I kept to the shadows, so he did not see me. He's a strange one, though. He showed no fear.
Well, he must leave at once.
You think perhaps he's not merely a traveler?
Why do you say that?
He might have heard things in the village.
Oh, nonsense. He's a soldier. He doesn't listen to old wives' tales. The important thing is that he leave with all due speed.
I shall see to it, sir.
But of his own accord. We must show him the respect his position and rank demand. Outwardly.
I understand, sir.
So that guy, the Brooklyn Butler, Dick Miller, he shows up in a lot of Roger's movies and a lot of Joe Dante movies like Gremlins and the Gremlins sequel. No, I mean he just well, in Roger's stuff, the movie that we'll watch 2 weeks from now, he's the lead, and it's an amazing part. It's a horror comedy. It's great. It's nothing like this. It's contemporary for that time.
Dead as well as a living. If I intrude, Stefan, I shall leave it to my host to so inform me.
Why have you come to Castle Von Lepp? What do you want here?
You seem to have things strangely confused in your mind. You're the servant, not I. I'll ask the questions.
Roasted him.
This was once a place of worship. Why have the holy objects been removed?
The Baron ordered it. When his wife, the Baroness Ilsa, passed away.
Then this became her tomb?
No, just the entrance to it. The Von Lepp family crypt lies below, beneath the cemetery. She rests there with 4 centuries of Von Lepps. That's been sealed for 20 years.
Nonsense. It must have been open last night. The girl must have passed through here.
As the Baron told you, sir, there is no girl.
No girl. Well, we shall see. Come with me to the stable, Stefan. I wish to attend to my horse.
Wait a minute.
The twist is this guy's just actually seeing things.
Apparently it bolted during the night.
And he was delusional the whole time from drinking seawater. I should have known.
I'm sick of all of these lies. First the old woman, then the Baron, and now you.
The old woman, you mean?
Never mind. What about my horse?
I shall get you another one from the village at once, sir. Believe me, Lieutenant, I have no desire to interfere with your departure from this castle.
You seem very anxious to be rid of me. Is it because you're afraid I might find out about Eric?
Eric?
So there is an Eric. That at least was not a lie.
Lieutenant, please, don't involve yourself in these dead matters. There is nothing here but an old man and his decaying memories. I beg of you, leave him in peace.
Decaying memories. God, what a picture that paints.
Yeah.
Ah.
Join me, Lieutenant?
No, thank you, Baron. I've just come from the stables. My horse is gone.
Your horse is gone?
Yes, I believe it was stolen, Baron.
Oh, impossible, Dick. The stable door perhaps was left open and the animal bolted. Not an unusual thing.
In itself, no. But there are certain other mysteries I would like to have explained, Baron, and I mean to have them explained.
How dare you take that tone with me?
I don't mean to be abrupt, but I will have answers.
Well?
Now, why did you remove the portrait of the Baroness from the wall?
I sent it away for renovation. The dampness of these walls puts a mold on the pigment.
You evade very cleverly, Baron. Can you also explain the violin music and the girl in the chapel last night?
You saw her again.
So you admit there's a
Music?
girl.
Ilsa.
Ilsa, is that her name? Answer me, Baron.
Please, please, leave me in peace,
If I leave you now, Baron, I will come back with a company of my men, and I will tear this place down around your ears until I find her. Is that clear?
Very clear.
All right, now, what happened to the Baroness? Was her death violent?
Yes, her death was violent.
How did she die?
You spare me nothing. 20 years ago, I was not the man you're looking at now. land, this estate prospered. My people lived well.
The eyes, man. He does so much with the eyes, dude, and they're just so like piercing.
One day in the village, I saw Ilsa, a peasant girl who'd come to live there with her mother. Oh, I could have taken her. These nobles have taken the daughters of peasants since the beginning of time. I loved her.
Yikes! Not anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, not where we live, but maybe in other places. So, I mean, it's still a yikes. You shouldn't do it. Just because you pillage a village doesn't mean that you get to take the prettiest village girl for yourself. That's a yikes from us here at Scream Stream.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
She was not alone. She laughed at me, said her bed was not for me to find another. With my own hands, I killed her.
And her lover?
Stefan took care of him. Later I gave out a story that she had died of some malaise. No one ever knew of her betrayal of me, or how in fact she did die.
Except for Stefan.
20 years I've not set foot beyond the walls of this castle. I've lived here
Pandemic, huh?
alone, but memory of the dreadful thing I did that night. That is my penance.
And now you believe what? That the ghost of Ilsa has come back to relieve you of your penance? Is that it?
Yes.
How long has the spirit been coming to the castle?
It all began 2 years ago. First I was terrified, but now I'm eager for our every meeting.
One more question, Baron. Has anyone else except yourself seen the spirit? Stefan, for instance.
You think I'm mad, don't you?
Right now, Baron, I'm not sure just what I think.
But don't forget, you saw her too. Perhaps we're both mad.
Oh. Where'd you go?
Maybe. Just maybe. I don't know. But no way we were supposed to take a break there. I don't know when our next break is supposed to be. It's supposed to be in a fade out like that. But I think we have a little bit more time. I won't jump the gun. It doesn't seem like it's been long enough to have gone through the
Ilsa.
second half of the... No way.
The name sounds strange to me here by the sea.
It is your name, don't you remember?
My name is Helene. The old woman told me.
She lies.
She summoned me from the sea.
You must go back. Your soul is troubled, Ilsa.
Go back? To Eric?
To the sea.
Only when the sea enters the crypt. We shall rest there together, he and I, beneath the sea.
It is an evil thing. You must not do it, Ilsa.
I must obey the old woman.
The Frenchman, he can help you, Ilsa.
Andre? The old one calls.
And the seagulls
She
in
warned you,
California are weird.
Gustav.
Seriously, these crazy seagulls flying around,
With you long enough.
Screaming.
screeching at as high a volume as possible.
I've been getting harassed by some geese this week.
Legitimately?
Yeah, there's.
Oh shit!
Yeah, there's some geese outside at work. They come and like make a nest every spring, and so if I'm just walking around outside like I do in the afternoon, I always have to walk past where they're nesting, and so there's always these two geese that come out and just start like like from a pretty good distance away, just like start honking at me.
Really?
Yeah. Like until I've passed them
Dude,
by.
geese are menacing.
They
man.
are like
You
they
don't-
start squaring up.
They really do. Like they're like I mean, I really haven't had to deal with them in a while, but at college, dude, oh my god, they were everywhere.
Oh, powers of darkness, let the spirit of Ilsa sink deeper into this mortal form. Helene, be as though you never were. Spirit of Ilsa, see through these eyes, speak through these lips. Do my bidding, for only then shall you find release from your torment.
Fucking witches, man. Witches get stitches.
Yeah.
Soon you shall have the strength to carry out my vengeance. And the dark powers will set you free, for I have promised them a richer prize.
Rowers keep on rowing, and they're certainly not showing.
100% Willy Wonka going through that. Yep. Should have known that they stole it from the Terror. Of course. Every famous movie that you've ever loved ripped off another movie that you'll see on the show. So, just a heads up.
I mean, honestly, probably at some level.
To some extent.
I mean, in the way the ideas are transferred on.
Right, 100%.
This is the property of the Baron Victor von Lepp, and that is forbidden for any of the villagers to set foot here, much less make it their home. How long have you been living here?
Only 2 months.
Perhaps I should tell you. You see, I've just come from Kleinschmidt, where you are not totally unknown. You've lived here slightly more than 2 years. Your name is Katerina. You come from Colburn, where you were quite unpopular because of certain activities. They call you Katerina the heretic, the witch.
They were fools.
Why do you live here? What do you want?
I haven't any money. This was the only place that wasn't burned to the ground, so I brought my things in here.
Where did you find the girl?
Is no girl.
I saw her. She was sitting in this chair.
There is no girl.
I know what she is. Old woman, I know what she is. Listen to me and listen to me very carefully. I don't know what you want, nor do I fully understand your black abilities. But if the two of you have not returned to Colburn within one night, I shall come back here and kill you with my own hands. And burn this place to the ground once and for all.
Do it.
You know who once lived here all those years ago?
You know who lived here?
Eric.
Oh, I gotta love zooms. So dramatic.
Oh, the dramatic zoom.
He now refuses to leave. I don't think he will leave of his own accord.
He must. I gave you definite orders.
Baron, no one knows this officer is here. If he should never arrive in Copeland.
Are you suggesting that
it's the only way?
That's a really cool
that
code.
I will never come?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
right.
distracted by
Seriously.
his code.
Fancy. Probably some velvet in there. Probably some silk.
He has a cute effort.
A much more. I don't know. Is that a less gaudy coat than his red smoking jacket? Than
maybe a little less.
Less
gaudy.
or more?
He's peacocking.
He is 100% peacocking. If I could tell you anything about Boris Karloff, I tell you every character of his. That's what they're doing.
Bottle opener.
Ah. touche. So, one thing that Roger Corman said about these castle scenes is that because they only had 2 days, they had to shoot all these things so fast, and so they didn't have any time to really get like set up good lighting, like atmospheric lighting. Everything you'll notice, like now that I'm bringing it up, like
you said that
all the lighting is very flat
it
because
does look pretty monotone.
They had to just be able to move around and get different setups without having to worry about changing the lights every shot. And that was one thing Roger Corman said, that the look kind of suffers from that. It just looks, you don't get, like, if you go watch the other like Corman Poe movies, there's some amazing like lighting and shadows and just all
which
this.
I think is pretty on brand for a Poe story.
Right, and again, Roger said the thing here was they just didn't have the time, and he was using a different cinematographer on this for most of the shoot. His main guy for most of the Poe movies was an Academy Award winning cinematographer, and so he was awesome. He was an older guy, and for this movie he used for these scenes he used somebody different. So they just kind of went with this kind of flat lighting.
Yeah, it almost looks like a play.
Right. I mean, that because it plays in like television back in the day. That was how a lot of when Corman was working against time, he shot like it was television. He had like a 3-camera setup, lights everywhere, so that everything was evenly lit, and just bam, 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 cranked out scenes. They were cranking out scenes on this so fast they weren't even slating. He said, "I'll remember it. I don't know how maybe that speaks to some of the incomprehensibleness of it all, but he had, like, that's how little time he felt like he had. Like they couldn't even slate the shots, which is back then was way more of a bigger deal than I feel like it is now.
Why is that back then?
Well, like, why is it a bigger deal?
Back
like,
then.
Well, you don't have... Now I have a computer program that can just automatically sync my audio and my video, and I don't have to know what clip is... I can easily scroll through the footage and figure out what clip this is. Like, It's not like I'm having a big film projector that can you run that back? Can you run that, like the dailies? You're watching your dailies.
So I guess like the editing process when it was on film.
I mean, you maybe have, if you're lucky, you've got a little moviola that you're editing on, and you're looking in this tiny screen, and you're being like, okay, roll back, like, or you're doing it yourself and it's manual. Whereas here on a computer, I can just click, So it was just so much more tedious back in the day. So the fact that he was able to. I have a hard enough time. I can't remember like that.
What is the meaning of this intrusion?
I'm sorry, Baron. I thought I heard voices.
Does that give you the right to burst into my room unannounced?
I beg your pardon, Baron.
Stefan has gone to the village to get you another horse. It will save us both embarrassment if he will leave the moment he returns.
There can be no doubt of it, sir.
So I don't know if you can kind of tell. It was always, like, I really didn't register it until later, but Boris Karloff kind of has a darker complexion. Like, he has a tan complexion. Turns out he has a lot of family. Like, I think both of his grandfathers on different sides were from India.
Oh,
and so I think that's what a lot of historians, or I think even contemporary sources at the time, like, you know, kind of contribute his looks like to his ancestry. But I think more back then, he didn't really publicize that. It wasn't like a known thing. He didn't really like to talk about his English life.
Yeah.
He moved to America. He was a truck driver for a while. Then he started acting in stage shows in Canada, and then eventually ended up.
Well, you know, with the way his face is shaped, the kind of the facial structure, you know who it kind of reminds me of
Who?
here, him being old? Huang from Always Sunny.
Oh, yeah. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Right. I mean, there's just something about, you know, certain, like, you know, features, you know, you're like, okay. Apologize for this mad echo, y'all. Okay, I have a question. If I'm about to do something, and so tell me if you can't hear the video, and also if we echo or not. Just tell me what happens. I just want to know. So, hold on. So if you can't hear the video, I wouldn't be surprised. But if we stopped echoing, tell me, because then that tells me something.
The same sound bite. Oh.
Ah.
Yeesh. Yeah, bird attack? Dude, a bird attack would be rough.
Getting your eyes plucked out by a fucking bird, dude? Ish.
Rip.
He ate it. Oh, can you hear the video? I guess I hope you can.
It's a silent movie now. April Fools.
Gotcha, bitches. Sweet Feet caught it the whole time. Yeah, that's what I thought would happen. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
Go back.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's fucking up. It's weird. We're never gonna figure it out. Constant echo forever. Get ready for it.
200 episodes deep.
200 episodes of echo. Get ready for it. Oh no, I think in all the excitement, I might have missed the break.
I was wondering with the fade out.
Was there a fade out? Okay. It'll easily pick back up. Okay, sorry. So we're dealing with some technical stuff, and I'm trying to figure it out. We're still only 5 episodes into this show, so we're still working out some bugs, and it causes instances where I'm just experimenting and then losing track of what the fuck is happening. So we're at the break. It'll pick right back up where we left off, so no worries about that. All right, well, we are 2/3 of the way through the tear. Impressions so far, Evan?
It's still interesting. I like the premise of this. You know, is the woman real? Is this guy crazy? I mean,
Right.
It's pretty good.
I'm sure that you guys are noticing a lot of walking.
Yeah, it is starting to drag a little bit in the second act.
Because a lot of it is just people walking around and looking for things and seeing
there's just a lot
things.
of, I see suspense being built, I guess.
Right. And it is... I mean... I imagine that a lot of you out there are very smart and you're following the story incredibly close. So I don't want to undersell or underwrite anything by, trivializing what happens in the story or what's going to happen. Suffice to say, a lot of the suspense building is done out of economy. Because if you can build suspense by just having people look for things, then
we gotta pad out the runtime.
It's like, oh well, we haven't figured out the next scene, so let's just have you start here, and then you're gonna end up here, and
we're gonna improv this whole movie.
Right. I mean, again, all this castle stuff was shot in 2 days.
We got 2 days. We're gonna improv the movie.
2 days. So you're not really, again, like what Roger said was they didn't know the ending. They didn't figure out that was the thing. That was why everybody was like really confused during the 2 days, because they're like, I don't really know what my motivation is, because I don't know where this is.
It's a mystery to everybody.
They're like, I don't know where this is leading to, so I don't really like. I just don't know how to play this.
Wow.
And so
I mean, that setting it up like this really makes me want to see where this goes.
Well, and what I'll also tell you is that a lot of the movies before this, a lot of the Corman Poe movies, big climax that ends in fiery climax, so, and again, what I love about a lot of these movies is when the filmmakers are like, okay, I'm going to switch it up from either what I have done before this or what other people have done before this. So Corman decides to switch it up here for the ending. I'm not going to tell you what he does, but what I will say is that when we come back from the break, we can place some wagers on it before we start the exciting conclusion of The Terror. Before we go into the break, the trailers that we're going to see are for, the two main guys in this. I love Jack Nicholson, but for our purposes, for the horror purposes, we're focusing on Roger Corman and Boris Karloff. So Corman went on to do a couple more Poe movies after this. We'll get a trailer for one of those. It's been called one of his best Poe movie. It's The Mask of the Red Death, which got a lot of hubbub a year or two ago when they had the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett, and everybody was in the White House Rose Garden, and a bunch of people got COVID, and it was like everybody was comparing it to Mask of the Red Death because it's kind of like the plot of the movie. It's like this like depraved prince invites all his best people, and then everybody ends up getting a plague. And so it's pretty wild. That's actually probably one of the closest adherence to a Poe story that Corman does. Also did Tomb of Lygia after this. We won't see the trailer for that. Other person, Boris Karloff. Trailer we're going to see is for Targets. And Targets...
I've actually seen that one.
Targets is a movie Evan has actually seen and Fresh has seen, and I've shown it to some people, but not the whole thing because I fast forwarded through the Boris Karloff parts to show you the more sensational parts. Much like this trailer, we'll show you no Boris Karloff stuff until the very end because the more sensational stuff is not the Karloff
I
stuff.
forgot that I hadn't seen all of that. I didn't realize that Boris Karloff was in that movie.
That's the thing, is Karloff's whole storyline in that is very poignant, but the whole idea in that movie is he's playing a horror actor. And so a lot of the horror movie of his that they show in that movie is The Terror. Because Roger Corman was a producer on Targets, and he told the director of Targets, Peter Bogdanovich, he said, okay, I'll let you use Karloff. I've got Karloff under contract for a couple more days, so you can use Karloff.
We got it for 2 days.
But you have to incorporate 20 minutes of The Terror. And so Peter Bogdanovich, who
Here's my riddle.
Right. I mean, it's wild. Peter Bogdanovich just passed away a couple months ago, but that was his first film, and it is wild. You'll see the trailer for it. I'll go a little more into it after the break. But enjoy the trailers, and when we come back, the exciting conclusion of The Terror.
Personalized by the motion picture screen's Prince of Horror, Vincent Price. Garotto.
No, I beg of you! Mercy, mercy!
With the devil's own darling, Hazel Court.
Lord, save him. Send me a demon, so I may know him to be your wife.
And a lost virginal angel of innocence, Jane Asher.
I want to help save your soul so you can join me in the glories of hell.
No, never.
She's a woman cursed by Satan's seneschal, whose very existence turns the white rose blood red.
Diamonds, rubies, emeralds, pearls.
Lavishly he plants his corrupting seeds of sin, spreading living terror that not even the unsullied can escape. One who craves all the forbidden pleasures of the depraved.
Each man creates his own heaven, his own hell. Let me see your face.
And we are back for the exciting conclusion of The Terror. And again,
I saw a little bit of
like I said in that trailer, you could actually see a little bit even of The Terror at the very end. Very little bit of Karloff at the end, yeah. Again, that movie kind of splits half the narrative with Karloff, and the Karloff stuff is great, but that movie is one of the first probably the first movie about like an American mass shooter. And it was only a couple years after the one of the first mass shootings in the United States was at the which was at the University of Texas. I think it was the University of Texas. There was like a bell tower, and there was a shooter at the top of the bell tower. He was just taking people out, and so that was where the impetus for Targets came from. But that was kind of tacked onto the requirements that Corman gave Bogdanovich when he said, okay, you can go shoot a movie. Like, I'll produce a movie for you, but these are my stipulations. It's got to have Karloff. You've got to use 20 minutes of The Terror. It's got to be a horror movie. Other than that, do what you want. So he's like, okay, I'm going to do modern horror, and I'm going to juxtapose modern horror with classic horror by using Boris Karloff, because he was like the epitome of Boris Karloff. And even a movie like The Terror kind of shows you that there was starting the divide in what horror was in the 60s was starting to show that the old gothic stuff of the people who were just scared with their faces, that was starting to go out of vogue in favor of blood and gore and guts and in reality. Again, Targets was 1968. Texas Chainsaw was only 6 years later.
How do you feel about Targets? Do you like it?
I love Targets. Targets is great. Again, Boris Karloff made a lot of really terrible movies at the end of his life. Targets was the last great movie. The last great performance. I mean, again, he committed to every performance he gave, but the last great movie that he was in was Targets. And then he did some very low budget movies for, I think there was an Italian film, and there were like 4 films from Mexico. And now he filmed all his parts in the United States with an American director, and then they were cut into the movie. Some of these movies came out like 2 or 3 years after he died. That's like how much he was literally working up to the end. And those last movies of his are hard to watch. I watched one earlier this week, and it's hard to watch because he's just sitting in a chair most of the time and can't be physical. Again, he gives a great performance with his face. Like, that was the beauty of the Frankenstein monster when he played it, is that he was able to be so expressive under all that makeup. Yeah. No, Fresh, you're not wrong. The movie? Yeah, no, Fresh, the movie that I watched. I don't know how you knew that. The movie I watched legit this week, it was one of his last ones. No. He was wearing these big sunglasses. He wears them the whole movie. He wears these giant sunglasses the whole movie, and in the first scene, he's sitting in this chair. He's like not moving at all. He's got these sunglasses on, and I thought, Weekend at Bernie's. Like, immediately, that was what I thought was Weekend at Bernie's. So it is crazy that you, like, because I don't think you knew, but it is the movie, and it's that was actually that was the Italian movie, and it was one of the better ones because it's kind of actually a ripoff of the Corman movie we'll be watching in a couple weeks, but it's about an artist who is basically using humans for more than just inspiration, if you know what I mean. And but again, most of the time he's sitting in a chair. He's wearing the sunglasses. You can't see his eyes. The eyes, we were saying it, they're the most powerful part of Karloff. So you're going to put big black sunglasses on him where I can't even see?
You're just blocking all of his power.
It's like, really, like, legit, it was kind of, like, it kind of looks cool, but then you start to realize that he just looks dead. And you're like, because his eyes are what, especially when he couldn't move, the eyes are what gave him life. So, all that to say, we're getting into the exciting conclusion of The Terror. And any wagers on the conclusion, Evan? What do we see? Does Jack Nicholson find true love? Is there a big fiery climax? Okay.
I want this movie to have a hot climax.
Hot. Well, we'll see. It's certainly, again, like I said, Roger Corman was trying to do different things here, and again, he didn't film all of the conclusion. It was like 5 different people.
I bet he gets lost in a hedge maze.
Well, it could, and then he freezes to death. I'm just going to go and spoil it for you, and then he freezes to death. And so I hate to go ahead and give away the ending. And then, actually that was where Stanley Kubrick got the idea later for The Shining, was when at the end of this movie when Jack Nicholson freezes to death. But spoilers, I'm so sorry. All right, well, I guess if that's all the wagers, then we are going to get into the exciting conclusion of The Terror. Forgot we didn't end at our regularly scheduled break because I was distracted. And I bet the echo's back too, huh?
Echo.
You're really here.
Of course I'm here. And I'll never leave you again.
No, we good. For like 5 seconds, and then it's gonna start. It's random. I don't know. I'm gonna shut up about
Fools.
When the night comes, I get cold. My arms and my shoulders get cold. I don't like the night. I want to be free of it.
You are free.
Only in here. In this holy place.
No. Everywhere with me.
Get it?
Come away with me now.
No, I can't. Not until
Until what?
the crypt. It must be destroyed. And with it, the
Joker
dead.
strikes again.
Don't speak of the dead anymore. You're with me now.
I am possessed of the dead.
You're a warm, living woman. Who has told you?
Bro, she literally just told you. Why are you trying to keep talking sweet nothings into her ear?
To discover the nature of the mind. I'll take you there. There are doctors who can free you from this.
From the dead.
The dead cannot reach out from the grave. You must come away with me now.
No. I'm afraid. The night.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
Dude.
And after everything this guy's been through, you're not dead. You're not a ghost. What are you talking about?
He's very thirsty. He's incredibly thirsty.
He's trying to fuck a ghost.
I mean, I guess when you've been a soldier for long enough, you're just like,
This is the first.
I don't
I've
care if
seen
she
in
is a
year.
ghost. Living or dead, she's still the first one I've seen. It just goes. He'd be like Swayze Ghost. The door, didn't you see that? The door creaked back open.
Yeah, he didn't really close the door.
Yeah, did you see that? I've got to get down these stairs.
Yeah. It's not like a real pulling.
No, I'm pretty sure somebody's just behind the set.
Okay.
Like they've got pulleys that they're like, yeah. Yeah. Because if it just shuts behind you like that, that's, you know, pretty big safety hazard. Seriously, who does have time for those stairs? And no railing when you're that old? You know, you're asking to have like multiple hip replacement surgeries.
Whenever I'm old, I just want to have multiple hips like implanted in me, so I've got
Right.
like, a couple extra.
Right, so if one breaks, then the other one will just take over and you'll
Gotta
be
back
fine.
up.
Right.
Still got that coat.
Right, man, that
Dude's
coat.
got that drip.
See, now this lighting looks a little more like Corman's main guy because he's using gels and there's a little more atmosphere here.
Yeah, well, we're here in the climax. He probably wanted to take a little more time on this.
I could
Like the
definitely see
green.
that. Right, that's what I'm saying. Like we haven't seen a lot of like this kind of
Styles,
style yet. No. Yeah. The technology finally came to Castle Von Lepp.
With you now. Soon I will join you in eternal sleep. Stefan will flood the crypt and seal us here together with our love. Elsa. 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 Why do you not talk to me?
Let it go, dude.
I've been waiting for you.
I love.
Right. Yeah.
You know what you must
No.
do.
Anything I will do that I dare not. Do not ask me, I beg of you.
You must, or we can never be together.
No, I cannot, I dare not.
It was the GLaDOS.
Look at me, Victor.
They're gonna flood the castle crypt with deadly neurotoxins.
Elsa, why do you torment me so?
You must do it, Victor. Only then can we be together. Only then.
So, you know, like I said, the overall production took over 6 months. When they were still shooting stuff for the ending,
Let me see who you
the
really
main
are.
female actress is 8 months pregnant.
Wow.
So I don't know if the reason they did that shot like that was because, but Jack Nicholson said when he's like having to carry her out of here later, he's like,
woman are you?
he's like, you can tell.
Like, are you gonna carry this
You can tell
pregnant
she's
lady?
8 months pregnant in more ways than one. Because her costume, you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, she's just.
Who are you?
When they use a stunt double for her in some scenes, you'll.
Helene!
No spoilers.
Is there a doctor in the village?
His illness is not of the flesh. I've seen this before. In a day or two, his mind will return. We can only wait.
The Baron tells me you've been with him since the Polish campaign.
That is
See, I
true.
don't know what that means. I have not. Job would know,
Been in
but I
this
don't
castle
know.
for 20 years.
He's
You
our
must know every section.
He's the
of
guy.
He's regaining consciousness.
No. He often moans during these seizures.
You have keys. Fetch them. I'd like to see the chapel.
The chapel.
Yes, if you don't mind.
So I think this was shot toward the end of the 6 months, and that was on a set for the Haunted Palace.
The hinges are rusted solid.
Do you have a crowbar?
Yes, come with me.
We've got to get in that crypt.
What is it?
That light there. That's the Baroness's bedroom in the tower. Room's been sealed ever since that night. Not even the Baron would enter.
Come with me.
We gotta go. See, look how fast they bound up those steps. Running.
Where's the key?
Only the Baron has the key to this lock.
And going and going
Lieutenant,
and
no.
going.
Gotta get a
Crowbar? Who needs a crowbar when I got my feet?
The Baron should find out we've entered this room.
Oh, what is he gonna do? Wake up out of his coma?
Did the Baroness have a child?
I don't know. I never thought she did. You spare me nothing.
Oh!
He did. He did wake up.
Baron, if you'll permit me, I think that I can explain.
Stefan.
Forgive me, Baron. I only have
Stefan, you fucking asshole.
Take this gun. Escort this gentleman from the castle. he resists, kill him.
Yes, Baron. Lieutenant?
Seriously, who does this Frenchman think he is, just coming up in my castle? I'm a goddamn baron.
My love. My love.
I am here, Victor.
I'm weary, Ilsa. My soul cries out for relief.
There is but one way, Victor.
No. The holy covenants of God forbid it.
You will be forgiven.
I could be sure.
Take your life as you took mine. Let your own hand destroy you and bring us together forever. Forever. No more torment, Victor.
Do it. Do it.
Forever.
Yeah.
I will. Promise you, Lieutenant. You
Got
return to Von
those
Castle, I shall not hesitate to kill
classic cult member saucer eyes. Fight, 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 fight. Why walk when you can disappear? More fog.
One of the film said, how many like fog machines do they use?
Oh, and these like big industrial. Like they also had good like low-lying ground. Like they had the right kind of recipe.
Yeah, the
right?
quality fog. They got that primo fog.
Right.
Doesn't matter now. You're too late. Tonight he damns himself. Yes, even now he talks into his own
This is primo fog, man.
Control the girl just How? Mesmerism?
Mesmerism, you fool.
Why? Answer me, old woman, or I'll break your neck.
To avenge myself on the Baron von Lepp. She will drive him to God's one unpardonable sin. Suicide.
For what offense? What has the Baron done to you?
He killed my son, Eric.
Eric was your son?
Yes. And tonight the Baron pays for Eric's life with his own immortal soul.
Yeah, like LMAO, who the fuck is Eric, right?
Too late.
It's like you gotta love that most of the drama here is built around characters that we presumably never met. We've never met them. And Jack Nicholson has no reason to be this invested in any of this.
Yeah, he could just leave, couldn't he?
Just go home.
Yeah,
Just
go home.
walk. Your horse ran away, just walk. And
There are other women out there.
Baron, you mustn't go down!
Oh, jeez. It's not easy being a baron. Sometimes your butler gets a little too
Right.
animated. You have to hit him with the
you gotta get him to shed a little blood. Make him know who's boss. It's my duty as butler to answer the door before so you gotta take care of my master.
Where's the Baron? We must get to him. He's locked himself in the crypt.
Eric is avenged.
Eric avenged?
She's used the girl as a puppet to drive the Baron to suicide.
But why?
She thinks it was the Baron that killed her son. She never knew it was you.
What do you mean? He killed my Eric.
Eric is her son?
You murderer!
No, wait! See, now it was all a lie. The Baron did return that night to find Eric with the Baroness, and he did kill her. But there was a struggle, and in the fight, it was not Eric who died, but the Baron. I killed the Baron.
And Eric is still alive?
He took the Baron's place, and for 20 years, no one has known. But he took the Baron's place in mind as well as body. In his mind, he is the Baron von Lepp.
What?
Now they'll both be killed. Eric.
Flood the cellars, how?
This is a wild twist.
Come with me.
This is the first, like, huge plot twist I think we've had in these films. This is insane.
Plot twist nation. Here we go, man.
Someone called Shyamalan.
Horror, dude. It's what it's all about.
The inside.
Yeah, this just got way more interesting.
You keep on here. I'll try and get in through the chapel.
Okay, so wait, so the Baron was killed, but the Baroness is still alive. Okay.
I'm not, no spoilers.
Okay.
I may need you.
No, no, not the chapel. I may not enter the house of God. I have made my pact with another. No, no, no closer, no!
That was... She didn't even go inside, sheesh.
Nope, she couldn't. She, dude, packed with the devil. Can't go in this chapel.
But she didn't. She like can't even go within.
Not even through the gate, dude. That's hallowed ground, man. That was so terrible.
It was a little abrupt, but
yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, visually, I thought it looked okay.
This is pretty insane.
Yes, my love. This time, forever.
Hurry,
Yeah. Yep. That's a cryptologist for you. Always searching in them crypts. Got him. I'm slightly concussed, but I'll be fine. I'm just a simple butler.
We will be together again, Victor. Together with our love here beneath the sea. Come to me, my love. Draw the veil. Look at me. And see how eagerly I await your embrace.
What have you done to me?
I have damned you as you damned.
See, like how they put Vaseline on the bottom of the.
Yeah, it's just part of it, though.
Right, just her body, right, like neck down.
It looks like he's in an escape room. It looks like they're inside like an upscale mini golf course.
Yeah, this is definitely like top scale mini golf course, top scale escape room. With this kind of lighting.
If you get a hole-in-one on the crypt, you get a free lifetime.
So,
are they using a double here?
I was just gonna say, I didn't want to point it out, but the beauty and wonder of stunt doubles. Karloff's hair is white.
Yeah.
The stunt double's hair is black. Not here. See, that's legit. That's legit.
I mean, they really, you know, putting Nicholson in the water is one thing, but putting Karloff in the water is...
Karloff said, he was like, I was miserable. They almost killed me. I was in this cold tank for 2 hours, and Roger Corman was spraying a fire hose at me. And yeah, here where the debris is coming down, clearly this was filmed like at the end of the 6 months. This scaffolding was from the Haunted Palace, so this was the end of the 6 months. A lot of this finale stuff was end of the 6 months. I mean, hey, you only got enough arms to carry one person. Who are you gonna save?
Sorry, I know which one I'm thinking.
I think it's the girl that got me involved in all this that I've been dying to like have a shot with. Maybe we'll see what happens.
So, like, do you want to go on a date sometime?
It's over. It's over. Do you understand? You're free now.
Free?
So, were you doing anything on Friday?
Whoa!
I kind of little spoiler in the intro.
Could have saved the other guy.
Well, again, you've only got arms enough for one person.
He took his shot, and
unfortunately, she was a skeleton.
She was a skeleton made of caramel.
And what are you gonna do? Yeah, the caramel dripping down, just like a delicious candy apple covered in hair. Covered in a really frizzy brown wig. Yeah, so that was the exciting conclusion of the terror.
That was exciting, honestly.
Certainly a much more climactic ending than what we've been getting from like the Poverty Row movies.
Yeah, the ones that just sort of kind of they just end.
Just end really abruptly, and the bad guy's dead, and it's over, and like. That was it. There was no twist.
Was really a wild ride. That twist, like they could have just not gone with that, and it would have been, kind of in line with the rest of these movies. But that's a pretty crazy twist.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly turns the entire whatever you've been able to make of the story up to that point turns it on its head, right? You're just like. Oh shit, like none of this is what I thought, which anytime a story can do that, it's amazing. And yeah, I mean, I think that, again, like I said, they didn't know how they were going to end it. They just came up with it kind of as they shot stuff. And that's where they ended up, a flood instead of a fire. So
there's the subversion. Okay.
That's the, again, I mean, hey, like, certainly.
Yeah. Roger was eating his lunch one day, and the caramel apple truck had pulled up.
He's like, God damn it, you know what
He's like, Eureka, I've got it.
I should have known. I should have known from the very beginning. The scariest thing I've ever seen is when the caramel, when I've taken a couple bites and the caramel is just dripping down. It's the goriest thing I've ever seen. No, yeah, I mean, that's certainly the whole idea of getting one last shock in on the final shot. And his production company, film group, was credited there at the end. Right. Well, the deadly neurotoxin certainly would have changed the game. A flood wouldn't have been the only concern. So
I guess at least Jack's character makes it out.
Right. Again,
it was just a huge waste of time.
It was a huge diversion from getting back to his troop. Right.
Like, you guys are not gonna believe where I've been.
It's like, I think I got a shot with this girl, so I'm gonna see where this goes. Oh, I'm at this weird castle fucking interrogating this poor old man and his butler. Maybe I should just leave. The thought never occurred to him. And I don't know if you noticed the part where Jack Nicholson throws the butler up against the wall. I think that was when the butler revealed the twist. Mm-hmm. And that was shot at the end when they finally, the actor who played the butler, Dick Miller, he was vividly remembered that it was they just gave me this whole monologue to tie the whole story together at the end. I was the one who's supposed to make sense of everything. They gave it it just doesn't again, like I said, everything was just come up with it as you go, to the point of, yeah, okay, this is how we'll put in a twist. This is how we'll make it make sense. We're going to throw you up against the wall in a close-up, and you're going to explain the whole story in a minute. It was
fine.
Effective,
it's
right?
Fine.
It worked.
It totally worked.
I mean, it surprised you.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
a huge curveball.
Right.
I mean, yeah. If not for that, I mean, the movie wouldn't have been nearly as good if they hadn't figured that out on some level.
Right. Again, when you don't have much of a story, and
especially when a lot of your movie is just characters.
A lot of it is just walking
corridors and going upstairs.
You're like, I gotta have some kind of satisfying payoff. At the very least, I gotta give the audience what they want, which is death and gore and excitement and destruction, action. Again, the witch bursting into flames was a nice touch. Yeah. Again, they knew how to, by that point, 1963, enough to know that your third act has got to be packed to the brim with whatever else the story has left. Whereas a lot of these 30s, 40s films, they ride their mileage out until they lose steam, and then they just all right, the bad guy is dead, and it's over. And so bang. So
it's the end of the
movie. So I'm actually really glad that you pointed out that, at least because I don't know if many people, a lot of what I've read about this movie, people point that out, how much of a twist the ending is. But as you acknowledge, pretty big twist ending, right?
Yeah. And I mean, like I said before, I think if not for that, this movie wouldn't have stood out as much.
Right. Again, you brought up Shyamalan. Anytime that, even if parts of the movie aren't great, don't hold up, if you got a good twist, it just makes the experience. And so that is the perfect segue into next week's film, which is a silent film. It is The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari from...
okay.
Yes, from...
I've heard of this one.
It's either 1919, 1920, or 1921. It might be 1920. It is... See, I'm not gonna consider that I'm spoiling anything, but I'll just tell you there's a twist ending. Okay. It is one of the first movies in cinema history to have a twist ending. So it was actually perfect because I didn't really think about the terror, because I've seen the terror so many times that I know that it's ridiculously convoluted, but I've seen it so many times I didn't necessarily think about it. 1920. Thank you, Sierra. Yes. So we're talking 102-year-old film we're going to be watching next week.
It's really crazy to think about it.
It's
our first silent film.
First silent film that we're going to be seeing on this program.
As much.
Yeah, I don't think that it will, unless the music is just like droning on, wah, wah, wah. But hopefully that won't be a problem. But yeah, it's going to be the first silent film that we watch. Originally, I didn't plan to show a lot of silent films on this program, but I think for the sake of content, we'll just do them all anyway.
And, I think that's fine. I mean, the Cabinet of Caligari has been... It feels like kind of an important milestone.
It set up a lot of the horror tropes that we still have today. It's one of the first horror films it was the first feature horror film. I can't remember if it came out before Nosferatu. I think Nosferatu was 22 and this was 20. And I mean, it is really, again, it sets up a lot of horror tropes, a lot of horror conventions that hadn't been done up to that time. And that is one thing. The whole other thing is the fucking art direction. You guys are about to see the film style called German Expressionism at its best. It's all about the psychological aspects of this set isn't supposed to look realistic. This set is supposed to be fucking weird looking as hell. So the whole movie is weird looking as hell. So it's a lot of fun. It's wild. German Expressionism. I cannot wait to show it to you guys.
Well, I can't wait to see it.
I've
heard of it. I want to see it.
Right. It is one of those important films that it's good. I mean, again, we're watching all these other terrible, terrible movies. We might as well see a classic. And Caligari is certainly considered a classic, I hope. Yes, it is Kafka. There's certainly like a whole lot of absurdity to it. And I hope that you guys can bear through the fact that it's a silent film, because some people just can't handle that.
Well, it's okay. We'll be talking.
We'll be providing
our beautiful voices.
Right. And if we need to, kind of put words in the actors' mouths, we can do that. It's certainly not a problem. We've seen plenty of terrible dubbing, so we can't do any worse than that, right? Yes, I mean, might as well.
It's a silent film.
I mean, we could really have a lot of fun with it. Sound effects, you could just go the whole 9 yards, and it would be a blast. I mean, it's going to be fun either way. I'm very excited to present Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, and that's another one that I saw for the first time when I was young, and that one I didn't pay as much attention to. It took me till I came back to it later, but it is just wild. It's fucking wild. So I can't wait to show that to you guys. So that is it for the Scream stream on Friday. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Sorry about the echo again. One of these days, we'll get it figured out.
We'll send this echo straight to the moon.
It really seems fucking random, but there's gotta be some explanation. So when we find out what that is, we'll not even tell you about it. The echo will disappear straight to the moon. And we'll all be very happy for that. So, that's it for this episode. Please, if you can, join us on Wednesday for the mini-sodes. We're just chilling, still watching some One Step Beyond. I may do the Shrooms episode next week. I thought about just saving that for the last episode of the One Step Beyond, or...
The film? Or...
so there's a whole episode where he goes and like it's a documentary episode of One Step Beyond,
okay.
where he goes and trips shrooms, and
John Newland does that.
John Newland does that.
Sheesh,
and
well,
I
join us
don't
next
know. I
time for
haven't
that.
watched it. I didn't want to spoil it for myself, so I don't know if he said he takes it, but I don't know if it's a trip. Either way, interesting. I thought either save it for the last episode of the season or go ahead and do it because.
Join us next week as John Newland opens the doors of perception.
The doors of perception, and he decides to take the next step beyond into shroom land.
He takes one step beyond.
One step beyond, maybe a little too far beyond. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not a bad trip. We'll see. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we'll do that one. Maybe I'll save it for the end. It's a surprise. If you can't join us for that, then join us on Friday for Caligari. And
if I'm at home and I'd like to listen to an old episode, where could I go do that?
Please go to YouTube. You can check out all of our old episodes there on our YouTube channels. Scream Stream Show. That's the name of the channel. On YouTube, every episode, echo and all, technical difficulties and all their glory. In all their glory. So go check those out. And yeah, I don't have anything else. So
take us home, Garrett.
all right, well, everybody take it easy, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Later.
Carpe Scream, Carpe Stream.
Hey, I love it. All right. Later, y'all.